gather that you're all installing the stuff, right? Okay, so in case anyone missed it, this is the built-in Telegram bot in Haskell workshop. So our goal is to build a simple Telegram bot in 2 hours, probably with some features like inline keyboards and notifications. I hope we'll get to that. But this is also a workshop at which I'm hoping to share to demonstrate a development process in Haskell, like for building a small application, and to showcase a design pattern, like how to approach this task. Okay. So how many of you have already prepared everything and are ready to start? 5 people?
You used semigroup, the semigroup operator, which is like 8.4 only. I tried to be subversive and use the latest LTS, but it...
Oh, sorry.
So now
right.
I'm redoing it with the latest.
Right, sorry, I should have like...
Downloading JHC is taking a long time.
Right. Yeah.
If you had, actually, could you go to Telegram bot simple and quickly patch it to append instead?
I can just import data monoid
Sure.
and do that. Okay.
We already have LTS built.
Okay. Yeah, I will do that.
And we would need to manually fix the commit hash or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So.
What was the actual?
Yeah. It was there before, but when I switched to GHC 8.4, it complained about it. Like it was not necessary. Okay, so which module?
That's what I'm getting on 11.11.
Right. Update parser. Okay.
Then we just need the hash of that.
Yeah. So that's the hash. And okay, I should open Gitter, I guess. So there's also a Gitter room for the workshop. There's a link in the preparation manual. Okay, it takes a while. Okay. So where do you want me to paste this? So okay, it just hands. Okay. So
I'll try that really quick, and if it works, I'll paste what the stack YAML should be in the Gitter.
okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have tested this with a previous version.
No problem. Pretty sure type check.
Yeah.
That's like the default. That's the default stack YAML. Like he had it pinned to a tag, but you can change
Yeah.
it to a commit hash. So
Yeah.
I'll paste it right now. It seems to be working.
Okay.
There you go, everybody. It's in the main LambdaConf one. That's if you already have like LTS 11 kind of built. So like do what?
Yeah.
If you already have like an LTS on your machine, use that, so that you're not pulling down half of
Yeah, if you already have some LTS
Yeah.
built.
Otherwise, it won't be faster to do this than to do what it was by default. Like if you don't have a Haskell environment, just do what it was.
Yeah. The only problem with the GHC 8.2 is that when you use it with GHC ID, it does not display the non-exhaustive pattern matches warnings. So that's
kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Oh, did you have like an LTS already? Yeah. Okay.
Great. So once you have the code, once you have built it, you so my setup is basically an editor, a phone bidder. Yeah, certainly. Just let me know when you have it. This is okay. So and on the right pane, I have GHC ID, which I use with -c and stack REPL to specifically tell GHC ID to not pass any of the weird arguments. So it just loads GHCI, and here I can too.
I had to comment out your default .ghci.
Why?
It didn't run by default.
Okay.
GHCID just dumped out.
Okay. That's weird.
Not sure why.
It just has like a few two sets.
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw that, but for some reason I didn't like it.
Okay, and on the second screen I have Telegram open, like application. I have it in Chrome browser. You can have it on your mobile device or on the second screen as well. And I have on the second pane I have GHCI. So I just run stack REPL or stack GHCI from the same directory, and I have this REPL, and we're going to be using the REPL together with the Telegram application. Okay. So in the repository, I have this main file which we're going to work in, and I also have stages directory with 8 stages, which are progressive stages, like for increasing complexity. Let's start with a bot that does not do anything but has some structure, and end with a bot that can perform some interesting features, like can notify you and can do some to-do stuff. Okay, so so we're going to start with just an empty file, which is not implemented yet. And so the way we are going to build our bot is we're going to use a design pattern that is very similar to Elm or Gloss or I don't know, Miso or maybe React in some part, where we will have a data type that will represent a model for the conversation state for our bot. We will have a separate data type for actions, and we will have a few functions that will work around that. So let's go with it. So initially, we will not have any interesting model. So we will just have data model is model with no arguments, with nothing. You might as well use type model as unit, but I think this is more explicit. And we also have should have a type for actions. Okay, so well, I think the most simple action type is where you have no actions at all, like an empty declaration. But maybe for the sake of more simple understanding, let's have just a special action that does nothing, no action, or do nothing. You can name it as you want. Okay. So that will be our model and our action. And we want to build a bot that can perform with this model and these actions. Okay, so how do you do that? So the library Telegram bot simple provides this interface that allows you to construct bot with this design pattern. So to do that, you declare a bot application which is parameterized by the model type and the action type. Let me just check that. That's the right, yeah. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, so and you can immediately see that on the right hand side I have all the errors immediately, so this is nice feedback. So bot app, we have to like import this from Telegram bot simple. Okay. Now Telegram bot app has some fields obviously that I have to.
Where is the library coming from? Is that something you wrote?
Yes, the library is something I wrote. This is based on the Telegram API, sort of, and provides just an example of a high-level interface. Okay, so and so bot app has to have a few fields, and I immediately see on the right-hand side that it misses bot initial model, bot action, bot handler, and bot jobs. So I can just go and do this. Bot initial model equals underscore because I don't know what to put there yet. So bot action is something I don't know yet. Bot handler is something I have to write, and bot jobs. Right. So now it tells me for each underscore it is actually a typed whole, and the compiler is telling me about what type should be a value at that point. Okay, so for initial model I have to provide a value of type model. So there's only one value of that type, so I just give it there. Then the next type is a bit more complex. Maybe I'm not sure if I. Is this still readable or okay? Because the lines are too long. Okay, so here is a function that takes Telegram update a model and creates a value of type maybe action. So let's put this in a separate function. Okay, so this would be handle update or parse update. I know. Handle update. Okay, so and handle update is going to have this type, but we can see that update here is not imported right now. So I normally do this like this: Telegram bot API qualified as Telegram, just to disambiguate between the high-level Telegram bot simple names and the low-level API stuff and types. So on handle update is going to be from type Telegram update to and from model to maybe action, and I should probably. Sorry?
You're using extensible effects?
Extensible effects? No.
Action model? Oh, pardon me, no, I got the question.
Yeah, there is some thing that is called F, but it's not from the extension from the extensible effects. Okay, so and handle update will take model and return action. So right now the only action we have is do nothing, and well, we can use that, or we can use nothing here. So nothing means that we are not going to process this particular update, and just action means that we want to process this update, and here's the corresponding action that we want to assign to this update. Okay, so for now we can just ignore update and return nothing. Now bot handler is the actual it's a handler of actions. So it takes an action, it takes the current state of our conversation, and it returns something of type f action model. Okay, I'll make it like this. Okay. So basically handle update parses an update structure that comes from Telegram and turns it into a nice application logic friendly action. Okay, so that's the action type that we've declared. And handle action only operates with values we really care about with these actions. And
Handle update like is fired up when Telegram sends something, and
yes,
handle action is more like our internal action.
yeah, exactly. Okay, so and right now what we can do is so app action model is a computation that produces a new value for our conversation state, for our conversation model, and at the same time it can issue some new actions to do. Okay, and it also can perform some like I/O operations or something like something else. Okay, so for now we don't need to do any actions, so we just return model as is using pure. So bot handler is handle action, and bot jobs is a list of bot jobs that are performed on schedule and can perform some tasks periodically. Okay, so for now we don't need those, so we just put an empty list there, and our program compiles. All right, so that's how we compose a bot application. Now of course we want to run this. Okay, so to run this we will create a function run that will take a Telegram token. You remember that to actually run your bot you have to access it using Telegram token that you probably have already created using the botfather bot. Have you? Okay, so in the preparation instructions there is a screenshot and an explanation and a link to the botfather bot. So in Telegram they have this botfather bot, which is a father to all bots, and you communicate with the botfather to create a new bot, and it gives you an API token that you can use. Okay, so it takes like 2 minutes to get one. Okay, so there is an example. Okay, so you will have to provide Telegram token, and then you can run your bot. So to do that, I will just sorry. So I will just copy this to run and main from stage 1, because I don't remember them. So run is going to take Telegram token and run the bot. It uses default Telegram client environment function that takes a token and creates the HTTP client manager and the default settings for where to send requests, like to api.telegram.org/bot/something. Okay, so then we get the environment and we start our bot, just bot, with the given environment. So start bot comes from Telegram bot simple. The underscore at the end means that we just ignore the result of the operation. We don't care about it right now. And in the main, I just call run with the Telegram bot token from the environment. Okay, so when I have this, I can go to the GHCI in my second screen. Yeah, of course.
Is that the environment token? Is that from the library stuff?
Yeah, getenv token is just a simple helper that gets the environment variable and just wraps it in a token new type.
Okay, so that has to fix the system or the private file.
Yeah. To run main, you have to export this variable. So I have this already. So I use it to not type the token every time and just not to leak the token to you. Okay. So token has the isString instance. So
So if we wanted to be lazy,
so if you go, you can just use this and copy your token here, okay, and it should run. Of course, it wouldn't be able to make any actual requests, but with this token, with your token, it will. Okay, so and I will run just main because I have my Telegram bot token in the environment. All right, right.
What do you have open on the right there? Is it just stack REPL?
So on the right, yeah, it's just stack REPL. So when I go to stack REPL, I have to, if I have done any changes to the source file, I have to reload stack REPL, even if this guy right here already has done that. Okay. So if I now write main, the bot starts, but obviously it does nothing. So I have my bot here as LambdaConf 2018 demo bot. You can connect to it too if you want to. It's available by this handle. Maybe I should post it to Gitter like this. Okay. So and I can start and I can type something here and nothing happens, right? So how do I know if anything actually works? Well, I don't, right? Okay.
sorry, how do we talk to our own bot? You've opened like a chat with your own.
Yeah, I've opened a chat with my own because I have created. So the bot father has provided you with has asked you for the name for your bot.
Oh, he gave me a link. Okay.
And it gave you a link. Yeah. So. All right. So I've posted some stuff to my bot, but nothing happens. So I'm not really sure if it works or not. So what do I do here? What I do here is I use. I'm not sure if it's expressions or not. Okay, so there is this trace bot default combinator that I can apply to my bot, which is not in scope, obviously. So I'll go to GHCI and just import here Telegram bot simple debug. So there is this module for debugging, and I have trace. A lot of traces, but among others, trace bot default, and it has this type. I'm sorry. So it uses show for model and show for action to display what is the current state of model and what actions are being handled, and it just transforms bot application, right? So it takes bot application and produces a bot application. So what it does, it traces, it uses debug.trace module for that. It traces bot's actions and not just the model and the actions, it also traces the incoming updates from the Telegram server, okay? So if I go here and I add simple debug, all right? So yeah, so I get the error that my model is not showable. So I just add deriving show here, and when I save, it should say that action is not showable. So I go and derive show for action. All right, I'm just following instructions from the compiler mostly. All right. Now I reload the code in GHCI, and now I can run main, and it tells me like the initial model is model. So
For one time, where did you use that method, the trace method?
yeah, of course. So it's trace bot default. I just apply it to the bot application. All right. So it's a function that takes a bot application and returns a new bot application.
One last stupid question. Could anyone just post link to the instruction groups workshop so I can have this bot run on the computer?
I think it is posted in the workshop chat room, but you're probably not there, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go to the LambdaConf page, and just go. What theater?
Oh, I see.
What theater are you in?
The main one.
The main one? Okay, I just posted it.
Thank you much.
Thank you. All right. So let me just start this bot with the trace debugging again. And now if I just write any message here, it should appear. Oh, no, it does not appear. Oh, yeah, it does. Okay. So, and here I get a nice pre-printed JSON value, which I find more useful than show for the update structure because of all the nothing fields. All right. So and here I get the update that's actually coming, and that I can figure out did I parse it correctly later on or not, and I can send anything. I don't know. It even displays the smile here. Okay. So now I can really know that the bot is working. It just does nothing, but it does working. It does get the updates from the Telegram server. So that's a start. All right. So let's go and do something with it. So what do you think is might be the next step for our bot? What do you think? Do you have suggestions? Echo bot. Okay. So an echo bot would require us to first parse an update to get a text message from it, right? So remember that updates are not text messages. There are some complicated structures that might be text messages, but might be photos, might be audio messages, might be anything actually, right? So might be the button presses. So I would go right. Sorry? Just a ping? Right. Maybe. We can pin it, but it should ping us, right? So for that, it would. To build an echo bot, you have to have two parts. First, you have to be able to parse an update and take a text message from it, and then you have to be able to reply somehow to the user. Okay. So I would start with the second part, just to reply a fixed text for any update that's coming. Okay. So and for that we will need a new action, right? So if we want our bot to say something, we need an action for that. So and that action could be, for instance, reply, right? Or echo. It can be anything really. So and this action should have some argument to it, right? So we cannot just echo and know somehow magically what to echo, right? We have to either store it in our model, but why would we do that, right? Or write in the action. So we can just use, for instance, text. I find import data, text. Okay. Now we add a new action, echo, with an argument of type text. And now whenever we get an update, we'll just return echo hello world. Okay.
Can you go to the import? Oh, the import.
Yeah, import data text, and I just use the explicit import. All right. So now when we parse any update, we just turn it into an echo hello world. Okay.
And that echo is, sorry, the data constructor for echo was taking a string or
Text. Okay. So text is usually what you want to use when talking to other web services. All right, so now in handle action, we can actually have different handlers for different actions, right? So I will do this in this way. I will have case action of. And here I will just do what we have, do nothing, and that's just returns pure model. We do nothing. And now we have echo and some message, right? And so here we want to do something, right? So to reply with a message, so our model stays the same, right? So our model stays the same, and we can use well, this magic combinator, which is less than and hash. It tells us take the model from the left and do some actions on the right. Okay, and this is mostly useful when you have only one actions that you want to do. Okay, so it's just syntax basically. Okay, so the idea here is that you keep your model updates separated from all the impure stuff. So you can use impure stuff to generate actions, but models are only affected in a pure way by actions. Okay, so that's why you have the you get this a bit weird syntax. All right.
What library is that defined in?
It's in Telegram bot simple.
Okay, so it's a Telegram. That syntax is.
Yeah, it's from the library, right? Right, and then you want to do some actual effects. So effects run in the bot M environment or context or monad, if some of you would like to call it. So this environment allows you to perform I/O, allows you to perform arbitrary Telegram requests, and it allows you to see what update originated this action. All right, so we know that this echo stuff, it came from handling some update. All right, so and this context keeps this update there for all the useful function for all the helpers to use, so that we don't have to like extract it manually. So for instance, there is a reply text helper. You can just import data Telegram. Oh, sorry, Telegram bot simple, and there is reply, a lot of replies, but among those a reply text. So reply text, it just takes a text value and replies. So how does it do that? So it takes the update from the context, and the update contains the information of who sent the update, which chat was the update in, and it actually takes the chat ID from there and replies to that chat. All right? So if we write reply text with a given message, then we will be able to reply. However, that's not the end of it. So any action, like impure stuff should result in some action. And here we don't want to do anything more, so we just do tell our bot to do nothing at the end of it. Okay. So again, when we are processing the echo action, we leave the model the same, and separately we perform this action to reply with this text message, and we tell our Telegram bot to do nothing afterwards. Okay. So now if we go to GHCI and we run our bot and we type something to it, after a while it should, yeah. So here we see that the update has came to our Telegram bot. Then we have logged incoming echo hello world. That's what we parsed. Then when processed it replied with hello world here. Then it issued do nothing. The model did not change at the time, and well, there was the incoming do nothing action there. Okay. The hello world is sorry, cancel. Here's the hello world that the bot replied with. In the code? Okay, so in the code, hello world is here. So when we handle an update, so basically when we parse an update, any update gets turned right now into an echo action with a hello world argument, which is the message that we want to reply with.
You should import just for 1 second.
Sorry?
The import.
Okay.
I have to use a fact function to check code from string to text.
Oh, that's because you probably used string here.
We use overloaded strings here.
Oh, and yeah, and you probably, if you have the GHCI disabled, you will need language overloaded strings, like that. Okay, so that's to be able to write hello world as a string and not to pack it into, not to convert.
And you have it by default how?
Have it in .ghci, and both GHCID and GHCI it loads them. Okay. So it's a pragma language overloaded strings.
So did you say that your handle action still has access to the update?
So it's not actually handle action that does have the access, but it's this do block. So where I
So that do block still has access to the update?
yeah, yeah. So so in this do block, I have access to most things. I have access to I/O. I have access to the client environment to send a request to Telegram server. I have access to an update. Yes. So that's where all the the impure stuff is.
So handle update is just a router?
Yeah, mostly. It also updates the model, but in pure way. It's like I could have like two functions, one to update model and another to issue some impure actions. But it's best, I think, to have all the processing in the one case clause. Sorry? You're missing the token?
Yeah.
So did you create the bot with the bot father? Can maybe anyone sitting right near you help you? Okay, so let's get to the second part of the echo bot. Okay, so the second part is to be able to parse an update structure. So for that, there is a module with some helpers called Telegram bot simple update parser. Okay, so and that module provides a lot of helpers. Let me just show you Telegram bot simple update parser. Maybe like that. Okay, that's a lot. Maybe import. How does it work? Yeah, like that. So there's like text parser, plain text parser, update text message, and comment. So we'll mostly use text and comment here. So let me just show you. So there is this text helper from Telegram bot simple update parser, which is an update parser that it extracts text message from an update. So there are actually quite a few ways where this text might be buried in the in the update structure. So this takes care of that for you. So to use that, so you can see that this is not a function, this is some update parser. So to run update parser, you use the function parse update. So it takes some parser that we are going to construct, and it takes an update, and it returns a value if it can parse this value. Okay? So here we're going to use parse update, probably like this. And then what we want to do is want to parse text. Okay? Okay, let me just make it simpler for you right for now. So text is a combinator that parses the text message from the update. Parse update runs that. And we have a problem here because we have to apply this to an update, of course, right? But now we have a problem that text returns a text, but we need to parse an action, right? So how do we do this? So the result of this whole thing is maybe text, but we want maybe action, right? So what we normally do if we have one thing and want another, and we know that, so how do we go from text to action? We just use echo, right? So echo is a constructor that takes text and returns action. So I want to apply echo here, right? But we can't apply it right away. Sorry. So we can apply it right away because on the right-hand side we have a maybe. So what we can do is we can use fmap, right? So fmap will deal with the context and apply echo to the contents, right? So that is also like an infix version of fmap. And you don't actually have to apply echo to the whole parse updates thing. You actually care about applying this echo to the text specifically, right? And here again, you have an update parser, not just a text. So you just use the infix fmap here. All right. So again, what's going on here? So we're running parse update. Here's actually the definition of our parser. So it tells us if there is a text to be parsed, you just wrap it in an echo and return it. Okay? And we apply it to an update. Right?
Can you scroll up a bit? I didn't see where you imported text from.
The what? Oh, the Telegram bot simple update parser. Okay. All right. So we can actually make this a bit better. Like if we just remove this, if we just I should have done this in the library probably. So if we switch the arguments order, then we can have model update and then here update, and we can remove the last argument from both sides, and here we will need just to flip. This is in the stage 2, I think, or stage 1, so we can just copy this transformation from there. And this is like this will like make our lives easier in just a bit. So and we can now place our actual parser here on the separate line, so that all the extra stuff does not distract us. Okay. So now we can read this as, to handle an update, we extract a text from it and we wrap it in an echo, and that's it. And in just a few minutes, when we're going to add more actions, this will become much easier to deal with than the code that we started with. Okay? Yeah. All right?
You should have code one time, the one that thinks right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've just switched the first two arguments of handle update.
Oh, okay. So there's like only model there.
No, but then you have to
Yeah,
flip on handle update or
this should probably be in the library. I just always forget about this. I'm sorry, guys. But we do need this to make the parser really nice to write and to maintain. Okay?
Oh, you do want it in this flipped form to be sexy later?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I want the handle update to be sexy. Okay. So the model we are going to ignore, I think, throughout the talk. So I'll just put an underscore before the model so the GHC does not issue a warning for that. Okay, so let's go and check if this actually works. So it does compile, but does it work? So we run this, we run hello. The update is coming, and the hello is back. And if I ask something else, I get something else back. Yeah. Okay. Do you need the font bigger on the left-hand side here? Like maybe like this. Okay, so it does work. All right. So let's go to the. Have you been able to do that? Do you have any questions, difficulties? All right. So now let's do something more interesting with the model. All right. So the basic thing that you can do with it is you can actually save all the incoming texts as to-do list, right? And just keeping them in the model, right? So that's the very simple thing that you can do. So for that, we're going to use record syntax here, and we're just going to have to-do items. And that will be a list of, I don't know, a list of text, or a list of to-do item where to-do item is text. Right, I forgot the. Right, so we have updated the model. Now the compiler tells us every place where we have to update our code to deal with the updated model. So the initial model we have to update, obviously. So the initial model would be model with an empty list, all right? And it works. Of course, it works because we never use the model in our code, actually, so far. So now, instead of echoing the text that is coming to the bot, we can actually transform it into add item. Okay? So instead of echoing it, we would like to save it into the model and to say something nice to the user that, yeah, we have, I have got it, so you can use that later. Okay? So I just replace echo everywhere with add item. Okay? But now I have to update the logic, obviously. Okay? So the message is now actually a title of an item. So I would update the variable name too. So now we do have to update the model too, right? So for that we are going to use add item function that will take the title for the new item, the current model, and we'll update the model. And so in the reply text, we want to say something like got it. Okay? So now we have to, what's left to do is to define the add item function, right? So we go probably somewhere where the model is defined and define this add item, which takes an to-do item, a model, and returns a new model.
Can we go back down to where we were handling
Yeah.
Got it.
So I've just so before it was model and it was message here. So I'm now applying a pure function to the model, and I'm just replying got it. Okay. So now add item is a very, very simple pure function that I have to deal with. So it's an item, and I have a model of items, right? Or rather, a model, and I want to update to do items. To do items to be item and more and the rest of the to do items, right? So I want just that. So I'm using the record syntax so that if I add more fields to the model, that the thing still works. All right. So this is some very simple thing. So what's to notice here is that the update to the model is a pure function, and it is going always to be a pure function. All right. So the model is always pure. All the modifications to the model are pure. All the impure stuff is happening here separately, and it may result in some new actions that, when they get handled, they affect purely our model. And that way, our model always is updated in a pure way, and that is really nice. It's very easy to follow where the model is updated, and it's really hard to mess it up. Okay. Okay.
You mentioned that reply is saying another type of dot amp, and that is a different type, I guess, or is it the same as EFF?
No, so EFF, so if you go here and EFF, so EFF is actually a, it's not very, so here's the summary. So it's basically a writer that writes some bot amp actions that perform an action and purely produces a model. Okay. So basically, if you strip all the fancy stuff, it's going to be bot amp action, which is the impure stuff, and a model. So it's a pair. It's like a pair. Yeah. All right. Okay, so we've made the add item, right? So it should work. We do not display the items yet, but we can still we use the trace stuff, so we can run our bot. It will display that the initial state is the empty list, and then we can have something like buy milk, and it adds that to our to-do items here, and we can see that the model has been updated here. All right, or conduct a workshop. All right. Yeah, it takes a while to get through, but it goes there. Or get some sleep, maybe. Not right now, though. So you have that there, okay? So here's your model, and I use pretty show by default to be able to parse it with my eyes later. All right. Great. So what's the next step? What do we want to do next? Like, I have a few options, but display the list. Okay. So yeah, that should be simple, right? So how do we do that? What are your suggestions? So how do we display a list of items?
You want to give like special commands to the bot that like
Yeah.
special strings that it
Right.
understand?
Yeah, we'll probably want to do that, an extra command, right? So that's one thing. Let's do this. So to do this, I'm going to strip the parentheses here, use the $sign, and on the next line, I'm going to use the or else, or this magical symbol from control applicative. And here I'm going to add a new parser. So I'll just write this down. So show items, right? Well, I'm going the other way around. So let's first introduce the show items actions. It does not take any arguments because it's showing the items that are stored in the model. Now show items is going to require us a command. A command is a combinator, sorry. So a command is a combinator that takes the command name and creates an update parser that returns the rest of the string. So we want some just show, command show, probably, right? And here we don't actually want the result of the string. So we want the command, but we are not interested in the all the arguments to the command, right? So we just ignore them with this argument.